real! Hey! It's gonna be a horrible episode, isn't it? It's funny because that would actually happen. Obviously. Until now. Busy doing what? What's there to do for you guys? Play chess? Yeah, there we go. Not doing a good job of it either. That could result in like serious concussion there. Thank you, Annie. I would have kept going. Screw the scene making. I figured he couldn't. That's not one way or the other. Yeah. Why is he shocked by that? The poor guy. Such nice friends. Kind of didn't expect that. I think that kind of helps explain the tears then. This is a little uncomfortable.
She had shit well planned.
This episode took a little bit of processing to get, at least for me. So I guess we'll start in order because I don't really know how else to address this episode. So we got the military police. So they're corrupt? No. I did not see that coming at all. That is a huge shocker. Yeah, it was pretty obvious that they're not the best policies around. And I was a little disappointed in the new Armin guy. I don't really know what else to call him except for the weird ball haircut. Anyway,
why is he?
Just like, because he's like, rawr, fight the power.
That's like a inside. New Aaron.
Aaron, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. I am bad with names. So,
Aaron?
This Aaron 2.0 guy was all like, rawr, F the police. And then there's police and he's like, I'm just kidding, don't hurt me. And then Annie had to be all like, yo bro, if you want to kill them, I'm down with that. And he's just like, I can't kill them. I don't know, I feel like you should have done more. But it's not a shocker, surprise type thing that the second he went up to them. Like before he was all like, yeah, raw police, but then he goes and has to actually face that. And then he was like, crap. So, I don't know. I
mean, yeah, it's hard because, like, they're in a position of social authority for you, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand it, but
yeah.
It would have been nice to see him be like, no. It was funny to see.
I think the best he could have done is when they bribed him off with the one extra coin or whatever, he should have gone, seen if he could find someone to report it to or publicize it through with the rest of his squad mates.
They're not. They don't think.
Some of them would have. It looks like Annie would have. At this point, I think honestly she was just doing this kind of like a temporary thing to pass the time, and that she didn't really care if she got if she had to leave the military police randomly.
Anyway, so then next we have the whole conversation in the shadows. First of all, how did she know to turn 2 corners to find him?
Titan senses.
Titan senses.
No, I mean, I think that, you know, she's just in general competent enough of a person that she was like aware, okay, yeah, I got called out from this corner. There's a person standing right there. So she goes into that alleyway, and that alleyway is fairly long.
It's completely empty and...
Exactly, and it's empty besides the one corner, so it's like, well, I have to turn in here now. I guess,
yeah. For all you people who are like, the nose, for, I think it was one person actually, but for the one person who was like the nose of the Titan, and it's like, their noses are not the same. I'm sorry, either it's like, it's drawn differently later or it's drawn differently in the comic, but it is not the same from what I have seen in this show. Otherwise, I would have been like raw Annie from the get-go instead of all these other circles. I mean, there were moments, I don't know if I voiced them out loud or if they got in the thing or not, but where I suspected her just because, like, she's the only one who was separate inside and wasn't around.
You never voiced it.
Yeah, well, whatever. And, but then I just, like, chalked it up because they're like, oh, the nose. And I'm like, oh, well, the nose is completely not her, so it can't be her. So, like, not the same nose. I mean, I could kind of tell in the alleyway Armin was fairly uncomfortable, but at the moment you could just assume it's because, oh, we're hiding away from police and stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So they still tricked me there, and it was a bit interesting that there were no other people around, and I was thinking that while they were all hoodied up and walking around, and that, just wondering why there wasn't really any wider shots showing them walking in the streets with people around them. So I kind of assumed that there were people around, but when they showed other scenes later with clearly empty streets, I was like, okay, but maybe they just happened to find an empty street, I don't know. Then the whole tunnel thing, that was kind of funny with, she was so nonchalant, if that's the right word, for I have this phobia, I am scared, I do not want to go down there, it frightens me. Like, show some emphasis and emotion or something, I don't know. It was just, it kind of fits her character, yeah. But it's still...
I mean, 9 times out of 10, if I were to discuss any phobias that I might have, which I don't really...
You'd be so monotone. And
that's pretty much how I would do it. I'd be like, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, I'm not...
Know. That was just a weird, awkward conversation for me.
I don't know, maybe that was the intent.
But I don't know. I feel like if you want to be more convincing about that for her in her position, for her reasoning, I would probably try and be a bit more adamant about it. I mean, she's being adamant, but I mean, more emotional, maybe, and that might sell it better. But I mean, obviously, clearly, they already knew that it was her, so it's pointless. Yeah. But she didn't know that 100% yet, so...
I don't know, that to me is the only thing that explains why she wouldn't go in the thing. That's... Because, like...
I agree.
Well, maybe not. Maybe she genuinely is, like...
She could, but... I feel like the more going for reason right now is just that she can't transform. Well, she probably could, but...
I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I think the only reason she would possibly not go into the tunnel is because she was already operating under the assumption that
it was
they knew exactly, and that even if she did go in, she would still...
That's another reason.
Because if you really thought, like, oh yeah, I can just go in there and they'll believe me, like, I don't see why you wouldn't really... Unless she genuinely feels that dependent on her ability to transform and stuff. It also seems like a somewhat flawed assumption, in my opinion, on behalf of the Recon Corps to actually assume that, oh yeah, if we just get her to go into a dark, confined space, like
I don't think it was just that. I think there was only one exit. Technically two, if you go all the way to the other end, but you would have that exit blocked. And I think that was another helpful point if they had gone into the tunnel.
Well, besides the point, I'm saying that I don't, because it's based on the assumption that if she doesn't go in, it's because she's a Titan. But it's like, where on earth did you get the notion that she's not going to want to go in?
No, they already knew she was a Titan, didn't they? Because, okay, this is a bit confusing, which is what I was saving for later, but I'll bring it up now.
Oh!
The maneuver gear. Armin knew that she had Marco's maneuver gear.
Yes.
But it was stated back when they were doing the inspections that nobody had a gear that they weren't supposed to have.
Well,
I'm a little confused about that, because wouldn't they have known that she didn't have her gear, that she had Marco's gear?
Not necessarily. For one, Marco was dead by then, so the gear was probably, like, either unaccounted for.
I guess it depends on how, like, stringent they are on record keeping of, like, this gear is specifically for this person. And, I mean, if they're, I don't know, I guess it depends on, like,
I think what it boils down to is that they issue every single person, like, one unit, and then they were checking that unit to see if it had been used recently.
I thought it was. I don't really remember.
And so I think she, used her own to do the killing of the two Titans. but then she
Oh!
swapped Marco's in for the inspection.
Oh! Yes, that is a good idea. Okay, I didn't think of it like that. Because I forgot that it was the hole which was used recently. I thought it was like seeing if it was theirs. Okay, you make a good point then. So then Armin already suspected,
Yeah.
post the female Titan existence, that she was more likely to be it despite the nose compared to anybody else.
Well, it also
I'm
seems
sorry.
like he genuinely like he supposedly realized it when she was like
Not
hovering over
killing
him.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, looking back on it, I'm not too. I don't find that very convincing.
I don't really
but-
either, because I feel like he would have done something about it then.
No, I don't think that, because apparently it's
Well,
been
not
like a
just that.
day and a half since this happened, so that makes more sense. Well, I don't find it believable because I don't think that that's a sound conclusion to arrive at. I don't think he had enough evidence to make that decision. But then again, maybe he...
Well, what evidence was gained that made anyone suspect that it was her in the forest the other day to begin with? Just because she wasn't there the other day? She was like the only person missing? Like, but for all I know, she could have been asleep in her bed all day or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, unless there's some other evidence that we don't know of yet that was figured out. I don't know.
I think kind of thinking about it more, I can find it more believable because they did spend like several years, I think, as I understand it, training, just when they were in the military, like training in the first place. So Armin, being as intelligent and observant as he presumably is, could likely have picked up on just subtle mannerisms and stuff. And she probably controls her Titan body similarly to how she does her physical one.
That's true.
So maybe it was something subtle like that that he picked up on.
I actually thought that this whole ambush trap thing for a moment was for Eren.
Yeah.
Because I saw them all surrounding buildings and she's like, are you wondering why there's no people around? I'm like, maybe they all know that Eren's trying to escape, but then I was like, oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing, too, is I also didn't know what the hell the situation was resolving as. I mean, obviously, I knew that she was the female Titan since pretty much we started this show. But I did not think this was going to be the scene where they do it. It didn't seem like it leading up to it. And I was genuinely, like, that was the thing where I even, when they went in and they showed the people, like, waiting to ambush, the fact that all the cloaks were, it was all the Survey Corps cloaks, not the military police. So it was like, okay, why are they there? Are they just, like, monitoring Eren's escape? It didn't actually hit me that they were planning to ambush her until they started more blatantly confronting Annie on the fact that...
Get in the tunnel.
What the first moment I thought something was weird was when Eren said like a woman who spins people around in midair isn't weak, and I thought the first thing I thought of was the female Titan spinning the dude that one time.
I actually thought
and then I thought, wait, no, why would Eren know of that? That doesn't make sense. So he's probably talking about her martial arts skills.
That's what I was thinking.
And then that's what I was thinking,
like when she did that whole thing.
Exactly. So then I figured that's what he means. But in retrospect, it could well have been a statement specifically crafted to kind of poke in both directions and see.
I thought it started getting weird. I think it was a line or two before that when she said she didn't want to go in, and then he started yelling at her, and I was like, "Whoa, man, where did that come from?" I mean, yeah, that fits his character, but it still seemed like a sudden yell. Out of nowhere.
It was more pushy about it because it's like, okay, I mean, you can escape on your own now. You don't need her anymore.
Yeah, that's when it started getting weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still a little confused about her motivation.
I like how she prepped herself with the ring the moment she agreed.
I was wondering about that
thing.
when she's putting it on. I'm like, it looks pointless and stupid, but I feel like it's gotta be something.
It's gotta have some significance, possibly. Just
I was confused why she put down her gun. And another nitpicky part was, I don't think guns make that much noise when you just touch them. It was like, and then she like put it down. It's like, oh my god, that thing's gonna go off. Like, I mean, I've handled like just a few guns in my life, but they don't freaking make that much noise if you just touch them. I mean, she wasn't even doing anything with it. She was putting it down.
Yeah.
And it was like gonna explode.
But that's
or
just
something.
like typical sound effects in shows when they have like, in movies even, when guns are handled.
An overemphasis on it.
Yes,
I guess it's like,
it's
it's a
hard.
gun!
It makes gun noises.
Anyway, I am not sure why she put down the gun and left it there. And my initial thought was, for why she did that, was like as a message to somebody who ends up finding it, like wondering why she's missing.
Mm.
And that was my only thought about it, but I was still really confused as to why she put it down.
Yeah, like I thought she put it down temporarily.
That's what I was thinking, but then it was completely gone.
It was gone, and I didn't actually think about that until you just now mentioned it. Now we have it paused on a screen where they're all talking, and she doesn't have the gun on her, and I'm like, yeah, she just left it. Huh. You know, given how the distances that everyone had to cover in the time that she was like between here and actually biting herself, it's total bull that they're all able to...
I thought she was actually going to transform while they were all jumping at her, because it was like, there's no way they're going to make it in time, but whatever.
I think that the more convincing way of having done that scene would have been to cut to the people first charging
and then
before she went to reach up for her. Yeah.
Not like she really needed to do that if she had
the ring.
I mean, if I had the ring, it's a lot less conspicuous to just do that.
I think she just wanted to keep the ring on hand as like a
backup, just in case.
Yeah, to not like, you know, show your hand immediately. Just
Oh, one other comment I wanted to make was just Armin's face in this episode. Just went from like relaxed to just extreme dark eye sockets, like freaking out in every other scene. Like it's either one or the other with him. It's a little, I guess he's just really tense and anxious or something, but it was just really weird to see him.
Is that an example?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like eye sockets. That's
And
like eye sockets.
It's not like eye sockets. I mean, like...
That's like the freemium version that you have to pay for the upgrade for. You get it on the App Store for free, and then you have to...
He's working his way up in the ranks, alright? He'll get there. Just like the rest of them. Although Aaron's a little bit ahead of the rest of them. But anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. You good?
Yeah.
I'm good. Alright, well, this was fun. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time. Bye. You look so excited.